Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Diana. Today we are talking about the truth that God invites humility and He lifts up. 1 Peter 5:6 says this: "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time." God's mighty hand will lift you up in due time. All of those who choose to humble themselves. That's what today's verse is saying. Seeing God in His rightful place is a great gift to you and to me when we see God for who He rightfully is. Why? Because when we remember that God is God, when we remember that God is holy, that He's set apart, that He is all good, that He is the most brilliant, the most wise, the most creative, the most trustworthy, the most worthy of honor, the most holy, it reminds us of our rightful place. And in a way, we could describe humility like that, of putting ourselves in our proper place and putting God in His proper place. But when we humble ourselves under God's mighty hand, we are choosing to go low in our rightful place because we're honoring God in His rightful place. As we humble ourselves, we are choosing to trust God, in whose very hands we are also held. Think of it this way. Have you ever been in a moment when multiple people around you are trying to make a decision at once? Maybe on vacation when multiple people are trying to figure out which way to walk or which way to eat. Or in a group project at school or at work when 2 or 3 people all have different ideas on how to start or what to do. You know this, when multiple people are pulling in different directions, it's hard to accomplish much of anything. Well, in a similar way, today's verse is reminding us of the wisdom that choosing to humble ourselves in God's hands, it's choosing to yield to God. And as we do, God will lift us up in proper time. Rather than trying to pull our way and having God's way there, it's a way to say, we're going to yield to you, God, and follow your lead and put you in your proper place. The scripture said, "Humble yourself, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He Himself may lift you up in due time." Let's get a bit practical. What could humbling yourself under God's mighty hand look like for you today? A great place to start is to simply ask God in prayer. Ask God, what would humbling myself look like in your hands? Tell God what you believe about His character. Reflect on that. And ask God what yielding to Him would look like for you. So maybe think of a relationship issue that is bothering you in your personal life, in your professional life, in your family life. And what might humbling yourself in God's hands look like there? Maybe it'll look like praying for that other person. Maybe it looks like submitting your words to God first before you spew them to that person or to others. Or maybe the third way, it might look like sharing in courage, the word that God has given you, even in the midst of the discomfort of that relationship. You see, when we humble ourselves in God's hands, we remember whose hands we're actually held in. We remember that the opinion of God is the one that matters. We remember that the ways of God are better than ours. We remember that God, through His Son Jesus, has fully forgiven and set apart His children. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He Himself may lift you up in due time. Ponder these things, and we'll see you next time.